replay. Okay,
Wonderful.
awesome. So, Liz, we have you as Awaken Greatness Mentor, and your service is to provide the MAP experience. And MAP stands for Make Anything Possible.
Yep. Make
Yes.
anything possible. Yep.
Awesome.
And my business is actually Arise and Thrive.
Arise
So
and Thrive. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
And that's my podcast as well. So
And so Arise and Thrive podcast, is
uh-huh.
that just found anywhere podcasts are on?
Yeah, it's on every platform. So Apple, or I actually launched it on Simplecast, but it's everywhere. Like
Yeah.
you can find it. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about how we met first. So
Yeah.
we're in a group called the Investors Secret Network, hosted by our mentors, Mitch and Maylee Nelson. And we saw each other at a beautiful gala. That was
Yeah.
celebrating everybody. And then you actually hosted some map sessions that were these group program versions. So I've hopped
Mhm.
into a couple of those and then also experienced it one-on-one myself. Um,
Yeah.
so what got you into that? What got you into MAP?
Yeah, so basically, MAP, Make Anything Possible, is a modality for helping you heal trauma and then also rewrite your subconscious programming so that you can get your goals and like align yourself with those goals. And the way that I came upon MAP, I had a real low time about 3 years ago in my life where I was just like, all right, how am I going to move forward? And I was trying anything and everything to like clear the junk that I was feeling in my life at that time. So
Wow.
had a counselor and I tried EMDR and I had tried Qigong and I had tried all kinds of stuff, Reiki, you name it, I've tried it. And
Yeah.
nothing was kicking like the anxiety I had and just this overwhelming darkness that I had going on in my life at that time. And one day I was on Facebook and suddenly this woman's face popped up, Colette Stryker. And the spirit said to me, she's going to help you heal. And I'm like, okay, what do you do? Whatever you do, I'm signing up for. And so went to my first map session and she asked us to bring a childhood trauma in our mind. And I picked one that was about a 9 out of 10. So really high energy around it, a lot of discomfort and powerlessness around it, and with two instructions. And this worked really fast for me. Not everyone is this fast, but in two instructions, it was completely gone. And I was like, that just evaporated. Like, where did that go? It was so crazy. So it was pretty awesome.
We're we're really used to things taking so much work, right? Like just like
Hmm.
taking so much time. I think I see your kiddo. Yeah, just like taking so much time and energy to like get it out. So to feel it leave so quickly, it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
what is this
it
even
was
real?
it
Yeah.
was wild. I know. I was just like, wait a second. That was something that I had been carrying for like 37 years. And then it just disappeared. And I was like, this is magical. Like, this is incredible. The speed of it just like clearing and me being able to heal from that was incredible. So then after that, I was like, okay, I want more of this in my life. So I started working on specifically on my anxiety, specifically on areas where I felt things were coming up and just cleared one thing after another, after another, after another. And it has just brought so much peace and light into my life. And things that I'd get hung up on before are gone, and so there's so much more clarity and just being able to move forward quickly, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I am so glad that you found it and you were led by the spirit to just jump in there. What is the super conscious? Because in the map sessions I was at, were like I've heard of, your conscious
Yeah,
and your subconscious, but then back even further, there's this concept of the super conscious. So can you explain what that is
yeah.
and how that's part of it?
So the superconscious is actually a part of our personality. It's a lot of people call it the higher self or your true self. So there's a lot of times a spiritual connotation to superconscious, but also we know in MAP that using the words and asking the superconscious to do the command, it works every time because the superconscious is just ready to let go of things and to bring in things that'll be helpful, and it will do whatever we ask it to do. So it's pretty cool. It's very powerful, and it's such a powerful tool. I don't know that anyone completely understands what the superconscious is. And you don't have to have a huge understanding of what is the superconscious. I like to explain it as it's my higher self connected to my higher power. And that helps me like just kind of have an idea of what's going on because there's definitely um, a quick, powerful way that the superconscious is working. And that just feels in alignment with my own beliefs. But someone who doesn't even believe in a higher power, you can still say the word superconscious and it'll still work for them. So it's
Yeah,
just that part of their personality that wants to help them heal. So,
that's so cool. So when I was experiencing the map session, I have to share a thought and a question. And this might come up
yeah.
for other people who are worried or concerned or wondering about trying this new modality and being like, is
Yeah.
I thought, hey, am I pretending that this is resolved? So like,
Mm.
um, I'm naturally a very trusting person. And
Hmm.
I want to believe in a lot of things, but then I also have experience in life that's like that gives me that like skeptic,
Yeah.
like
That's too
look on
easy,
it.
or that's,
That's
yeah,
too easy. Yeah, I don't
over
understand
promising, right?
whatever. And so when we go through a group session, there's positive peer pressure and then there's just peer pressure, and then there's just experiential comparison. Um, when you hear someone is getting rid of one of their things, like it's going
Hmm.
lower. My number was 9 or 10. Now it's 3. Now it's 2. Now it's gone. And
Uh-huh.
then, you've even shared this, like sometimes it's not done in that session.
Hmm.
How do we as a participant stay true and honest to actually the real number rather
Hmm.
than the comparison being like, oh yeah, mine's gone too. Like
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like I do that and I'm learning to not be like people pleaser and all those things, recovering in that way. And so I'm like, okay, I remember
Yeah.
saying in one of yours, I'm like, I'm still at a 3
Hmm.
and it wasn't gone, but it like reduced it and that was awesome. But then it like went down
Yeah.
and further. And then like I think we did the one-on-one session with the same topic and it
And
did
then
go
it was
away.
cleared.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a
So,
concern.
yeah, for sure. So I think the biggest thing to know is that everyone processes in a different time frame. So, like I said, when I had my first session, that was a topic I had done a lot of work around, and I wanted to get rid of it. And I had done lots and lots and lots of work. So it really only took two instructions, and then it was just gone. With someone who maybe has been hiding a certain trauma or not wanting to face it, or certain emotions that are coming up. Maybe they're really fresh. Maybe you just had a big breakup. And so it's in your current life, that would be a little bit more, it would take a little more time to process that because it's all very fresh. The wounds are fresh, right?
Yeah.
So the emotional wounds. So basically, you just need to know that everyone's going to process at a different time frame, and I try to emphasize that in the group sessions. Like, hey, it doesn't matter if your number actually goes up. Sometimes a number will go up in a session a little bit before it will actually go down.
Oh, wow.
And that's just maybe it gets more intense for them because they've been avoiding it. They don't want to
Yeah.
feel it. And then as soon as it starts to come up, then it's almost overwhelming. And what's great about the superconscious is we give it the instruction to only process small amounts. And so it will cycle through and treat and then rest and then treat and then rest. And that's how the superconscious works so that it will not overwhelm your personality, like the main personality. And because, trauma is trauma. There's a reason why we hide it away or don't want to look at it because it is overwhelming or it's stressful
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. So what's cool about MAP is that it will treat and it will rest. And so maybe someone isn't ready to get to a 0 that day. and we'll do what we can for them in that group session. And sometimes they might be ready, but they need someone to take them down each little rabbit hole of like, we've got to resolve this and, this past experience with this person, and let's heal the emotions around that, or let's heal these beliefs that I accumulated during this time in my life that it was really traumatic. And so we'll go down each one of those little rabbit holes that we need to, and then they can get resolved and come
Yeah.
to a zero eventually. So you just have to know that it's going to take time. And definitely it's important to be true to self and like really be honest with yourself about it. There was one where a gentleman was in my session and he was still at a 3, and I asked him, okay, do you want to do a one-on-one? And he said, yeah, I just need a little time. And so he took a couple of weeks and he did some forgiveness letters and he journaled and did a lot of different personal things that he felt impressed to do to help him resolve this. And he came and with a couple instructions, it was completely gone. And so he's like, okay, now let's work on this other one. And so he didn't need to spend a long time on it because he actually did some work besides map, and it processed super fast when we got back together. So
I love that he
was
was
it?
inspired to go and do those other things. So
Mhm.
when some people are, I really liked what you talked about of the work and then the rest. When
Mhm.
some people are kind of addicted to healing modalities and practices, how
Yeah.
do you encourage people to go live their life after the session? Like to like be,
Yeah.
release that and then be like, I'm free and actually just, you know,
Yeah.
go live without that burden.
For sure. So what I've seen people from my experience of watching people with their healing and from my own experience of going through MAP, it's it's so easy, I feel like, to like feel uplifted and feel lighter and to feel like ready to just go out. Like you're like, whoa, that's gone. Like it feels like you just took off a backpack and now you can run instead of like walk up the steep incline with this huge pack on, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, I think naturally you already feel emotionally better and lighter. I mean, if someone isn't quite resolved and they're still at a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or whatever they're at, we're saying from 0 to 10, 10 being like a real high level of discomfort, powerlessness, or a high level of the emotion they're feeling, like if they're really anxious or something, and say they're still at like a 3 or a 4 or something like that. Then a lot of times I'll tell them to take some time for themselves, drink a lot of water, go outside, just all of those kinds of things are really, really helpful. Get kind of grounded, be close to the earth, go out and walk in the grass, whatever is your thing that helps you. Sometimes you just need a little time to yourself. And especially if you're working on things that are from the past that you haven't glanced at for a long time or like really dove into, it can be a little bit like emotional. I've had people tell me that they've even cried after the session as they've thought about things and processed things. But what's really cool is in the session, a lot of times, like you said, it was neat that gentleman had the idea to go do these things. A lot of times you'll get insights during the session from your superconscious of either it will help you know where a connection is, like, oh, this experience with that person was the pattern that started this thing, or it'll show you images, it give you little impressions. It also can give you little pictures or things too that help you understand that it's all better or that things are getting better. One woman, she had had an abortion, and in the clinic she was at during that, she felt very pressured to do this abortion and she didn't really want to. If it was up to her, she wouldn't have, but the man in her life and some other factors kind of pushed her in that direction. And so in her session, she was working on this guilt and shame of having this abortion. And as she looked up, she could see there was a red brick wall in this abortion clinic. And she saw that red brick wall and was just like, oh, yuck. And as the session went on, her superconscious showed her all these plants and beautiful things growing out of the wall. Like, look, we're healing this. Look, we can change this and shift this, and it's going to get better. It's getting better, And so she felt so much better after that session. She was amazed that that could be cleared for her because it was something she carried for a long time.
Wow. I really love how universal it is and it can work on a lot of different things.
Hmm.
So do you find that a lot of people end up using this as like a regular regimen that after, going through some severe life instances, then they just kind of have it as like a hygiene, like
Yeah,
they
for
stay at it?
sure. Hmm. So I would say, like in my circumstance, I had kind of a traumatic event where I went through a divorce and some things. And in that time for me, I was really seeking healing and peace compared to the anxiety I was feeling. And so for me, I did need quite a few sessions and I needed to come back over and over. And I knew exactly when I needed a map session. It's like, oh, this thing that's bothering me that I feel stuck on, that's irritating me. And then I'd work on that and that would clear and I'd feel awesome for a day or two or sometimes a week. And then it's like, oh, I need another session. And so I do another. And when you certify with MAP, you get to work on yourself a lot. Other people are working on you. You're listening to recordings too. If you listen to a group recording, you actually can get the same benefit as being in a session because you're
Oh,
hearing the commands, which is very cool. So I just press play and go lay down and clear whatever I needed to clear. And sometimes it'd take 10 minutes, 15. I wouldn't have to go through the whole session and then I'd be on with my day. And so that was really awesome. A lot of people who there's a woman, she had a divorce a year before, and so she had started doing quite a bit of work, but she came in and wanted sessions regularly for a couple of months. And
mm,
now she'll just check in like once a month or every once in a while when she has something come up. And so
yeah.
it just depends on where you're at. If you have a lot of trauma, you'll expect to come a little more often. And what I tell people is, hey, 6 months of MAP or 30 years of talk therapy and you get kind of the same result or better faster with MAP because sometimes 30 years later you're still treating the symptoms or taking the medications or this or that. And not saying medications are bad, they help us get through what we need to when we're at that spot. But like with MAP, it can clear a lot faster for people, and that's what they love about it. Like, wow, that just went one more story about how fast it can work. There was a woman who came to me. Her son had been killed pretty recently before she came. And she just said, I don't know if I can ever forgive this man. And I said, do you want to work on that? And she said, yes. We did two instructions to her superconscious. And she said, I just forgave him. Like it was so fast, so fast. And I thought, how many years would she have gone on wanting to forgive him and not knowing if she could if she hadn't had that map session? So it's kind of amazing how quickly things can process.
It is amazing. And now I have another question is, can you do it with children?
Yeah. So definitely, I actually do map sessions for my kids when they have a lot of emotion coming up, like, when you can just see that they're really frustrated or they just don't know what to do with themselves, or, screaming out or a lot of crying or this or that. And so I'll ask them, hey, do you want a map session? And then I'll ask them to focus in on how they're feeling about it, and then we'll treat it. And it's been really effective for my kids, even teenagers, if they're willing, they do awesome with MAP. And I had one little guy
Gosh.
in my office a couple weeks ago, and he was clearing something. I don't know if it was school or what it was, something that was on his mind. And when he got done, he said, the water was really dirty at first and now it's clear. So his super conscious was showing him, hey, look, it's all, we got it all. Everything's good. Like you're clear on this topic. So it was pretty cool.
And you can do
And
it in the office and you also do Zoom. So this next
yeah,
week, you're going to have an event, right?
yeah. So, yep. Next week, we have a elite entrepreneur group that we do map with, and it's for anyone who wants to move forward on their business goals. And this next group is all about unaligned intention. So it's like, hey, I got these goals. I want to do these things. Why am I not there? I'm doing the hard work, or why am I avoiding this one thing? If you have anything like that that feels a little out of sync, that you're not in alignment with your goal or with your overall goal, and even if it's a small goal, or if it's like, hey, I'm just not making the amount of money I want to make, like I want to increase my income, then yep, we're going to focus in on that. And everyone can kind of bring their own experience, their own topic in a group session. You don't have to share what it is. Everyone's working simultaneously on theirs in their, like they bring it up in their mind and then they listen to the instructions and they clear things. So even a group session is very, as it's as private as you want it to be. If someone wants to share something, they can, but we don't ask anyone to, we don't require anyone to share anything about their topic. I will ask, hey, what's your number? Just so I know how you're processing so we can watch things go down.
That's so
So
good.
that's always
So if
fun.
they want to participate, what's the best way for those to come
Yeah.
session?
Do we have an option of putting a link somewhere
Yes,
for everybody? So
yes.
yeah, I have a link where you can go and you can sign up, and it's quite long, so I don't know if I
We
can
can put
send
it
it to
in
you
the
or
Facebook event.
okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll do that. But yes, so just click on that link. It's easy to sign up. It's coming up on the 19th at 6 o'clock. Just click on that and sign up. And I even have a deal for anyone who's listening today. There's a
Ah,
$10 off deal. So usually it's 35 to come to a session. So you could come for 25 and just try it out.
yeah,
Um,
highly,
and
highly recommend it. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we'll
Yeah.
put that coupon in there too for the $10 off. And anyway, it's pretty awesome. We'd love to have you join in and just try it out. Just be like, so what is this about? What's this? Just be open-minded to see how powerful your superconscious is. It's pretty
Yeah,
incredible.
$25 at Cafe Rio, or maybe like release something that you've been holding on to for years.
Yeah.
Like, you have the money, just
Seriously.
try it out.
It is so awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome to watch everybody process too. And a lot of times, like you said, you weren't sure, like, okay, with your number and things like that. What I tell people is sometimes it takes your conscious mind a minute to catch up with
Yeah,
what your superconscious just did.
for real.
So you're sitting there kind of in shock, like, okay, could it really be gone?
Okay, so
And
you know that saying that
yeah,
like you can you eat an elephant like one bite at a time?
yes,
It's
yes,
like someone saying that and then being like, "Oh, the elephant's gone." Or like
yeah.
the house is built or the thing is here.
Hmm. Like you
And
snap your finger and there it is. Yeah,
it's released.
it is amazing how quick and such large things that can process easily too. And sometimes it takes a little while, and it is the elephant that we're biting pieces off. Work on
Yeah,
the ear and the trunk and the this and the that, but there's always a way to process it out with Matt, which is awesome. So
so good. Now, for yourself, you were talking about this is for entrepreneurs. You
yeah,
also have your business. So Arise
yeah.
and Thrive, did I say that right? So
Yep. Arise and thrive. You got
okay, Arise
it.
and Thrive. So when we were talking about your business and
Yeah.
organizing it, what were some of the next steps that we had discussed that you remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what really kind of struck me as cool with like the Harvest Systems Pro system that you have is just how like you can make your business scalable because like there's so many options to like put contacts in and information in and keep track of things and like where are you at with these people, like maybe you just barely introduced someone to something, and for me it might just be, hey, they came to the first map intro session and I'd love to, like, they've got a lot of trauma and things. It would really help them if they came to my group sessions and had a few one-on-ones, and then I could keep track of contacting and like where are they at, where, how many times have we talked, and is it a financial thing? Do I need to check back in a few months, or what is it that's kind of holding them back? That was really, it spoke to me. And then the other part with Harvest Systems Pro is that you can have multiple businesses like that you track, right? Which
Yeah.
I think is so cool. So like because I also do real estate investment and that's part of how we met, right, Christine?
Mhm.
And then I've got this other side of Arise and Thrive where I'm helping people with MAP and their goals and moving forward. And so these two totally different systems, two totally different entrepreneurial uh, directions, but within Harvest Systems Pro, I could go ahead and like keep track of everything for both.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing.
You can be like, okay, I met them here and I tagged them. I met them through ISN and everything. And now I know that this
Mhm.
person's a mortgage loan officer. They've got a tag there. this person is
Yeah.
also a realtor and whatever. But now they have the same profile, and you also know that they've been to three of your map session group sessions. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I think they might be ready for a one-on-one, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just following the whole process and each individual person and then keeping the records because I just feel like as you get a little bit older, your memory isn't as keen and it's like you've got to make the note or write it down and then it's easy to come back to later and you know right where you left off instead of trying to carry it all in your mind all the time, right?
That's so true. Okay, so I'm super grateful we've had this conversation, been able to discuss the releasing the limits through your super conscious. And um, I'm super excited for next week on Tuesday. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So everyone else that sign up, click on the link. If you're interested in working with Harvest Business Advisors, I'll put that link as well. And you can get a 15-minute consult for free. And
Yes.
this is the saying we say, here we grow.
Yes, I love it. Here we go. Thanks so much,
Thank
Christine. It's
you.
been
Awesome.
lovely. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Thanks.